Boys, UFC 319, Khamzat Chimaev versus DDP is literally 7 days away. We're going to be seeing Khamzat Chimaev get beat up by DDP in 7 days. My brain honestly cannot even comprehend it. It's probably because Khamzat Chimaev might not even make it to the octagon due to illness or just getting embarrassed via the press conference. But this fight's in Chicago. I know we've all heard the rumors that Khamzat is not allowed to get approved to fight in America. Like, obviously he's allowed to come and visit. He's not like an illegal, you know what I mean? He's not going crazy or anything like that. The commission was just not allowing him to fight. That's just the theory we've all had because we've only seen him fight in the United Arab Emirates. You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen him fight outside. We haven't seen bro fight outside ever, and he also does fight once a year. So if he does win this fight, heads up, it's gonna be the bad ending. We're never going to see this belt. It's going to be worse than John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Khamzat Chimaev was quoted in a recent interview saying that he wants to be the first ever triple champion. He wants to get a championship at 185, where he's fighting for right now, championship at 170, and then a championship at 205. He's lost it. He's absolutely lost it. Now, DDP, this would be his third title defense. He just claimed the King of Africa title from Israel Adesanya, submitted him when things were going a little bit wrong. DDP has the plot armor, boys. Khamzat Chimaev is extremely one-dimensional. He only has wrestling. His stand-up is absolutely garbage, okay? Yes, he did collect Robert Whittaker's teeth and wear them as a necklace. But we're moving past that. We're going to move past that. DDP is an absolute savage in the cage. He fights like a drunk old man. He absolutely does. But he gets the job done. He gets the job done. You know, you cannot get upset at the tool that works, all right? Khamzat Chimaev is extremely one-dimensional. Last fight, Robert Whittaker, I already explained what happened to him, to that victim. But the fight previously before that was Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman took you to a decision that was majority, like, fan opinion, a draw. Okay? That was not a decisive win from Khamzat Chimaev. He didn't get anything done that whole fight. Nothing. Usman to a hard night out. Look what he did to Joaquin Buckley. But Khamzat could not finish Usman. DDP is way bigger than Usman. DDP is a savage. We've seen what he could do. I don't know if he's going to be able to defend all of these takedowns, but I think he's going to be able to find a way to stand up, find a way to defend the submissions, and find a way to win. That's what DDP does. But the co-main event, Aaron Pico versus Lerone Murphy. They've been trying to get Aaron Pico into the octagon for God knows how long. They gave him Mozavar. The Mozavar fight fell through like 3 times, all right? They were just like, you know what? Lerone Murphy, you just went out there and had a fantastic performance against Josh Emmett, where you took to a decision. You know, I thought Josh was gonna win. I thought Josh was gonna knock Lerone Murphy. I'm gonna be honest with you, but he did that. You're ranked 6. They're gonna try to push Aaron Pico up there, but all of the Bellator signees are garbage. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely garbage. Absolutely garbage. Talking about Bellator signees, the best Bellator signee is on this card. Michael Venom Page versus Jared Cannonier. Boys, this has title elimination smell. You know, it has the smell. It's not been confirmed, but it has the smell. MVP is ranked number 15 in a whole different division. He's ranked 15 at 170. He is unranked at 185. Jared Cannonier is ranked 8 at 185. He's been going out there. His last win was against RoboCop, who he was kind of getting his ass kicked until round 3, and then he woke up and won the fight decisively. The fight previously to that, he got beat up by Carlo Brajalio. But Michael Venom Page is going to go out there and perform a masterclass in striking. That dude is like Wonderboy. You cannot train for somebody like MVP. All right? He's aggressive. He's creative. He's throwing shit you've never seen before. He's switching stances constantly. He's bouncing. He's going to use cardio and pressure. Look what he just did to Shara Bullet, the one-eyed pirate. I heard that after MVP beat up the pirate, that the pirate was going to retire. That's why I was so shocked 2-3 weeks ago when we saw him on a card. I was like, what? I thought you retired. I heard that you went blind in the other eye. But MVP, by the way, went out there to BKFC and fought Mike Perry. Mike Perry won that fight, but in my opinion, Mike Perry lost that fight. MVP is an absolute savage, okay? Never count him out. Jared Cannonier is way bigger than MVP, though. He's aggressive, but he is kind of like a introvert kind of guy outside of the ring, but recently he's been fighting like kind of an introvert in the beginning of his fights, aka his last fight with RoboCop, and RoboCop was whooping that ass, and some like the nine tails that was inside of Jared Cannonier woke him up and told him, you have to get after it. My boy got after it, you know what I'm saying? Carlos Prates is also on this main card against Geoff Neal. The fighting nerds are on here heavy. I'm pretty sure Michał Oleksiejczuk is also on here. Shout out to Michał. Yes, he is. Michał Oleksiejczuk is also on here. The fighting nerds run deep every single card they go. Later this year, we're going to have a Gene Silva versus Diego Lopez card, and then a Carlo Brajalio versus Nasruddin card. Okay, it's gonna get a little ridiculous down there with the fighting nerds trying to promote these dudes. Get him to the stars. Carlo Prates is going to be fighting Geoff Neal. Now, Geoff Neal, honestly, is a hard night out. He has a few losses, but his losses are to absolute savages. His last two losses were against Ian Machado Gary and against Shavkat Rakhmonov. He took Shavkat to the third round, by the way, and he took Ian Gary to a decision, and it was a split loss. All right, so one commission judge said that my boy won. All right, said that Geoff Neal won, and Carlos Prates is also a hard night out. I'm gonna be honest with you, Carlos Prates probably has it in the bag, but the fighting nerds lost their like not their status, but like the aura that they had when Carlos Prates went out there and lost, because all those dudes were undefeated. You know what I mean? But he's gonna try to bounce back from that. I think he's going to be able to, I think he's going to be able to do it, but I'm going to root against him. I'm rooting against him. We're going with Geoff Neal here, boys, absolutely. Now, we're going to be seeing Asakura versus Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott is coming off of a loss in a grappling tournament, but he's coming off of a win in the UFC. He did lose against Muhammad Mokaev, but Muhammad Mokaev is not in the UFC, so that shit is voided. That loss is absolutely voided, all right? Asakura famously is coming off of getting beat up by Alexander Pantoja after coming into the UFC like a superstar, thinking he was a superstar, and he got absolutely humbled in there. They ranked Bro 15, by the way. From that performance, from getting signed to an instant title shot, they gave Bro rank 15. They're like, fuck it, you're only rank 15. You're not going nowhere, you know what I mean? Now, Michał Oleksiejczuk, like I said earlier, is on here against Gerald Meerschaert. That's going to be an absolute banger. I always kind of bet against the fighting nerds dudes, but Michał Oleksiejczuk I always see in my actual like day-to-day lives. I've seen Michał Oleksiejczuk around my town pretty recently, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Bro. But I think Gerald Meerschaert got that in the bag. We are seeing a Bobby Green reappearance after him getting his conscience separated by Marcio Ruffy, talking about the fighting nerds. You know, they will appear. Bobby Green coming off of a vicious knockout, fighting Diego Ferreira, who is also coming off of a loss, but not an absolute vicious knockout. So they're going to try to jumpstart Diego Ferreira's career here and try to get Bobby Green out of here. Go rebook Bobby Green versus Tony Ferguson in bare knuckle boxing or in dirty boxing. Go sign with Mike Perry. Shout out to Mike Perry. Boys, I am trying to tell you, this card is just bussing. Chase Hooper, like I said earlier, the Roman Kopylov copycat, fighting Alexander Hernandez. You know, they're trying to build Chase Hooper as a star, and he is. Just that loss that he had against Fluffy, and he has a few weird losses, Chase Hooper. He lost to Steve Garcia, got knocked out in the first round, lost to Steven Peterson. He's been in the UFC for a little bit, Chase Hooper. You know what I mean? But my boy's had some losses that has stopped his like jump rise into stardom. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Chase Hooper. This card is going to be just great, boys. Superstars on top of superstars. Talking about that, an absolute banger of a squabble. Bryan Battle versus Nursulton Ruziboev. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the best pronunciator of things. I'm going to say them how they look, you know, and sometimes it just looks like word spaghetti. All right, that's what's going on with Bro's name here. But both of these dudes are savages. Bryan Battle's coming off of a win. I thought he's coming off of a loss, but my boy's coming off of a win over Randy Brown, right? Yeah, Randy Brown. Nursulton Ruziboev, you know, word spaghetti, is also coming off of a win. My boy beat up Eric Moicano, who I hold in high regards. He did get his ass whooped by Joaquin Buckley, though. This is going to be a savage fight. Bryan Battle pulled one of the best promos in recent memory when he beat a Frenchman and said, "You guys think I'm going to let a Frenchman beat me. In front of a French home crowd, and the home crowd booed him and everything. But that won my heart. You won me as a fan right there, Bryan Battle. So we're always going to sit here and go for you. We're going to go with Bryan Battle over. I'm going to try it one more time, boys. Nursulton Ruziboev. Alright? That's what's going on here. The first fight of the card, you could skip. Karine Silva versus JJ Aldridge. Actually, shout out to JJ Aldridge. I might not skip that fight. Alright, shout out to JJ Aldridge. I might not skip. That might be the first ever women's fight I bet on. Boys, this is one of the best cards in the future. You know what I'm saying? The only other card, honestly, that I'm looking at that I'm like, boys, this is great, is October 4th. Ankalaev versus Ferreira with Marab versus Sandhagen. And then super like co-main event is Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Roundtree Jr. Alright? I can't tell you guys how excited I am for this card. UFC 319 is going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm going to go watch this. I'm going to go watch this shit in IMAX. I might go watch this shit in IMAX. If you made it this far, boys, like, comment, and subscribe. I post videos every day. Tap in, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.